Welcome to another episode of Recipe Club. My name is Chris Ying. We have a heck of an episode for you guys. Dave and I invited our dear friend, one of the world's most innovative, most creative, most spectacular chefs, Malcolm Livingston II, former pastry chef at Noma, WD50, a CV unlike any other. He is going to show us his secret, and it is a secret. It is worth watching for a picture-perfect sweet potato pie. Malcolm's gonna show you how the original version is done, and then Dave and I are gonna do two variations. But before we get to those, take a look at Malcolm in our kitchen making probably the world's most perfect sweet potato pie.
What's up, y'all? I'm Malcolm. We're making my delicious sweet potato pie. It's a little different, but don't be afraid. These sweet potatoes have been roasted at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for about 1 hour. I like to stress that you want a big fatty. You want like a ginormous sweet potato. The slender the sweet potatoes are, I've noticed in the recipe that they make a slightly more sweeter puree, but also a slightly less dense, stiff puree. We want more of the starch that naturally comes from the sweet potato, so therefore the bigger potato, more starch. When your potatoes are cooled enough to handle, you're just gonna peel them off. We want to unleash some of that amazing, wow, this is actually 3 different types of potatoes here. But I think it's gonna make an interesting recipe using the Japanese sweet potato and the American sweet potato because they're 2 very different potatoes. I mean, this one is starchy, but it's hella sweet. And then this one is also starchy, but not so sweet. So live action, you're actually about to see me ideate on camera for this recipe. So yeah, let's go. Let's take our Japanese sweet potato. There we go. So I'm gonna start with that first, and I'm gonna blend it, and then we'll add the rest of it. Okay, add the other half of the orange sweet potato. That is a beautiful color. Look at that. You want a smooth puree, but you don't have to go crazy and make it ultra smooth because we're gonna blend this one more time anyway, so. All right. So we'll mix this up, right? And now let's just weigh out what we need into here. All right, 510 grams. There we go. Ah, there it is, 510. Woo. One thing I definitely forgot to say was preheat your oven. So first, we'll weigh out our friend sugar. We need 150 grams. Get in there, get in there. There it is. This is a very important ingredient in this recipe. Actually, all the ingredients are kind of important because if you don't have one of them, it just doesn't work. Like imagine not putting the sweet potato in, you know? It's 25 grams of cornstarch. Let's do the spices. So we have ginger. We're gonna add a bump of that. It's like a gram. There's no way that this scale is ever gonna weigh a gram. So I'm getting kind of nervous when we have to weigh out agar later. Because agar is a very strong jelly agent. Next, we're gonna add some nutmeg. I believe this is 2.5 grams. I think, so that's saying 1 gram. I definitely think this is 2.5 grams. Yeah, when you get used to weighing out stuff, you kind of know. You could kind of look at it and just see. 4 grams of cinnamon. I'm gonna say this is 4 grams of cinnamon. Yeah, let's go with that. So 10 grams of Madagascar vanilla extract. Weigh out some agar. This I'm hyper nervous about because we don't have a micro scale here. This is very important. You need a micro scale for this recipe. If you don't have a micro scale, I would say probably the equivalent is around maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm gonna use my years of experience working with agar and hydrocolloids, and I'm gonna literally eyeball this because I know this scale is not gonna work. So we need 1.3. Yeah, I don't think any more than that. I'm gonna stop there. Yeah, y'all wanted to see if I really knew how to do this, right? I figured that. I'm hip to it. All right, next, you're gonna take some non-dairy butter here, and we're going to weigh out 50 grams. We have a ready-made pie crust. I like these. I think they're incredible. They're, especially for this recipe, as you can see, it's a lot going on here. There's like bowls everywhere. We have a lot of ingredients, but you're gonna be a star. Like when you make this pie filling, it's gonna be so just amazing that no one's even gonna think, oh my God, ready-made crust? Like, they're gonna be like, man, what did you do to this filling? You're amazing. Your pie crust is incredible. They're actually gonna think you made the pie crust because like everything's together, it's beautiful. It's gonna be a vibe. Let's weigh out 150 grams of oat milk. And then we will drop in our agar. Very, very important to add the agar into cold liquid because you want to evenly disperse or mix your agar thoroughly. So if you were to add this agar in when it starts to boil, like you might start setting the agar too quickly, or you'll have some pieces of agar that hasn't been properly dissolved in the liquid, resulting in a pretty terrible gel. So that looks great. Put that on the stove. Click that in. So we're gonna add this in there. And our starch. Then let's add in the spices. Ginger went in, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Just give this a light pulse. And then now you can put on the high speed. Technique. It'll save you a lot of time when you do things with good technique. All right, let's turn the heat on. Lovely. Oat milk, agar situation happening. Can you do this recipe without the agar? Yes, you can. You will notice a difference. You will notice a significant difference. Your pie may not set exactly how I think it should. Like basically with the agar, this is making a texture that's almost like custard-like. It's like smooth, it's like bite your teeth into like a caramel and get teeth marks. Like it's just so unique in its own way. So that's what the agar does. So I highly recommend you source a good agar, like a telephone brand agar, something like that. So that's come up, right? So we're just gonna drop in the vanilla. Boom. Okay, that's gonna lower the temperature a bit. So we're just gonna put that back on the stove just to bring that up to a boil one more time, just to make sure we've properly hydrated our agar. There it is. Okay, take it off the heat. Just gonna stream that in. Oh, it smells so good. Jeez. Oh, damn. All right, let's put it on high. Drop the butter in. Every time I make this, it's like, just feels so good. The warming spices, beautiful caramelized sweet potato. That looks divine. Like you want to dive into that. It looks like an oasis of caramelized sweet potato. It looks like pudding. It looks like butterscotch sweet potato pudding. Check it. Oh yeah, this, dang, this is it. This looks crazy, oh my God. Yeah, this is good. Okay, just pour that in there. Come on, y'all telling me that your grandmother's sweet potato pie look like that? It don't look like that. You know this is crack. Look at this, man. It looks like fudge. Ooh, there it is. All right, this looks great. We're going to throw this in the oven, 325 degrees for 30 minutes. We're gonna pull it out, rotate it, cook it for an additional 20 minutes. That's a total time of 50 minutes if you're doing math correctly. Here we go, in there. Ooh. Look at that. This looks amazing. Nice color. I would honestly say when you're making this pie, if you can make this a day ahead, I promise you, you will not be upset. If you bake it the same day and you give it to your friends, they'll still lose their mind, but maybe they'll lose their mind just a little bit more. Okay, here we go. Nice cooled pie. I'll bring this up here. Wow, beautiful. Here it is. Ooh. Look at that. I mean, come on. Are you serious? I'm serious. No words, just RIP. You're gonna be a star at your family gathering, your Friendsgiving. You pull up with this. Everyone's gonna say, hey, let's open a bakery. You need to sell this every year. Just make sure you send a little bit of that money to me, you know? Thanks so much for watching. I'm Malcolm Livingston II. That was my sweet potato pie recipe. Peace.
As promised, it's a picture-perfect sweet potato pie. Malcolm was very obsessed with achieving a perfect texture, which you saw him achieve with the use of gelatin and seaweed or sea moss, giving you that kind of fudgy, perfect, forkable, perfectly sliceable texture. Roasting your own sweet potatoes and getting that caramelization that just sort of bursts out of the sweet potato makes the taste, it just makes the taste. Coming up next, Dave and I are going to push the recipe in a couple of different directions, which we will show you right after this break. Welcome back to Recipe Club. Now that we've seen Malcolm's perfect sweet potato pie, Dave and I are going to try to mess it all up, starting with me in what is, spoiler alert, the less zany of the two variations. I'm gonna try to make Malcolm's sweet potato pie, but I'm going to harvest my own agar from seaweed. So Irish sea moss, incredibly popular ingredient right now. I think it gives you virility and any number of other benefits. I'm gonna try to make the same sweet potato pie using handmade agar, and then you're gonna see Dave Chang do something totally different. Oh, hello, it's Chris. It is hopefully clear to you that it's Halloween night. I've just come back from a night of revelry and trick-or-treating with my children, and it's late, and I'm gonna make Malcolm's sweet potato pie, but with a little twist. Instead of just using store-bought agar as directed in the recipe, I'm gonna try to harvest my own agar using seaweed. We'll see how this goes. It's pretty late, I'm pretty tired, and I'm dressed like a unicorn. I don't have time to change. So this is Unicornio's sweet potato pie. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna get 150 grams of oat milk. This is what I've got instead of, in place of agar, sea moss, which is the source of carrageenan. I'm gonna try and just, oh my God. See if I can steep this in here. Okay, so this is after like 3 minutes of cooking seaweed in oat milk. I think there's a lot of carrageenan in this, so I'm gonna try this again because, my God, that did not work. Okay, let's try this again. First things first is I'm gonna soak it in some water, rinse off some of the salt and natural beachiness of this. I'm going to steep it in the milk, a much smaller amount, for much less time, and hopefully just pull some of the carrageenan off of this stuff. Meanwhile, I'm gonna work on my puree. 500 grams. 150 grams of sugar, 25 grams of cornstarch. All right, this has been pureed. So we're gonna add our spices: ginger, nutmeg, cinnamon. All right, one more time. Let's do a bunch of oat milk here. Into that, we will add our soaked sea moss. This is what we've got now. This little wad of slime left. I think that it's given a good amount of its jelly to our oat milk. I'm gonna strain this out, weigh it again, and then proceed. All right, now we've got our carrageenan steeped oat milk, 10 grams vanilla, melted butter, good morning, Ruby. You making a pie? You wanna go lay on the couch? It's still early, honey. All right, bake this thing. Well, it smells good. Puffed up a little. All right, I've transported the pie here to the studio. I haven't tasted it yet. It feels so smooth. First slice is always such a pain. No! Oh no. All right, so feels really good as the crust after you bake it. This pre-made graham cracker crust got really good, but no signs of seaweed flavor, thank God. You can see it's like holding up, and it's extraordinarily not creamy. Some other word that doesn't mean creamy. Harvested carrageenan from seaweed. Didn't buy agar. Otherwise, I made this recipe according to the way Malcolm directed. And while I'm not usually a sweet potato or pumpkin pie guy, I like this texture a lot. Best sweet potato pie I've ever had. I'll just yell poop right now.
Oh, man, that hits the spot.
All right, so maybe $50 later and a couple of missteps of harvesting my own agar, it worked. And honestly, I learned a little something about seaweed and virility, I guess. Now, as promised, Dave Chang is now going to try to make the same recipe, and his task was to try to make Malcolm's, 2-hour long, including chill time, all of this, 3-hour long cook in 15 minutes. And I'm not going to spoil anything for you because honestly, I can't. I'm still wrapping my head around what you're about to see.
Dave Chang here, and we're doing Malcolm Livingston's sweet potato pie. And my restriction is less than 15 minutes, which I can tell you right now I will not successfully do. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna microwave these, even though it asks for a roast. And I think the roasting of the sweet potatoes is probably a key element because you're trying to extract as much of those natural sugars as possible. I'm gonna peel these and then chop them up so it cooks as quickly as possible. I think I might microwave this with the sugar. Microwave this for, I don't know, 5 minutes. 1.5 grams of agar. Vanilla. So all I need to do is finish for that to cook, and then I'm gonna puree this with that, with the butter, the cornstarch, and I mean, it's a pretty simple recipe. So I'm gonna try to it up. I'm not gonna make it in a pie. I'm gonna try to make it into some kind of fried bread as well. It's probably gonna blow up in my face. I'm gonna basically make a dough with the pie crust. So this is cooked through. Gotta say, that's pretty good. It's pretty good, pretty good. So when you're making recipes off the cuff like this, it's probably, now I can see I should have put this on parchment paper so I could lift it up. I'm literally mentally stuck right now as to what I'm gonna do. I just don't know how I'm going to do this. And I'm really regretting deciding to take it out of a pie shell. So now what I'm thinking, I'm gonna put the farce in here, I'm gonna fold it over, I'm gonna turn it into some kind of like cinnamon bun. This is a horrible idea. So there's some ginger. Some nutmeg. I'm gonna put some sugar. This is not what I thought I was gonna do. I painted myself into a corner, and it's a shitty corner at that, because I had bird in hand, and I could have just poured the thing. Once I pureed everything, put it in the pie crust and pop in the oven, I'm done. Now I have this hot mess. So it's a lot more condensed, these sweet potatoes, it's more glazed. You want me to microwave it some more? Get it nice and golden brown? All right, all right, all right. So here's what I'm hoping to do. I put the puree, make a layer, and then I fold it over. And then I'm gonna turn it into cinnamon buns. But not really. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna melt some butter. No, I'm not. Am I? Yes. No. So I'm telling you my thought process. I could just put butter here to help laminate it and then put the puree on top, but I think I might have so much fat in the puree that it'll help with the lamination. This is legit so stupid. So now I am going to add that to this mixture, and we're gonna puree it. That is tremendous. Oh no, oh no. Well, I'd like to know what to do from here. As you see, I'm going back into the trash. It's like, take this out. I really thought I was gonna pan fry these because I put the butter in. I had no idea that it might actually come out like this. And I was going to do one of these guys, cook it in some butter. That literally was my plan. But now if I go this way, it almost looks like I knew what I was doing. Probably bake this for 30 minutes. Ta-da! No sauce. I mean, it doesn't taste terrible. In fact, it tastes pretty good. But this isn't ugly delicious, right? This is not food that doesn't look good, that tastes good. This looks bad, tastes okay. Don't do what I did. Make the recipe as Malcolm suggests. I think you can make a lovely pie with a graham cracker crust. It probably would have been way better if I just kept it simple as the recipe suggested. So there it is. There's my long explanation and my excuse for this sweet potato bun.
My dude seemed kind of depressed about the results of his cinnamon bun pull apart sweet potato pie. But Dave, I will tell you what happened. I came down into this kitchen after he had left and saw this thing on the plate, and I ate it, and it, you know, was fine. I ate more than one bite. So come on, buck up, champ. It's gonna be okay. If anything is worth making from this episode, it is that original sweet potato pie that Malcolm showed us. And honestly, harvesting your own agar, easier than you'd think it would be. And let me tell you right now, it does help with the virility. Oh, God. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Recipe Club. If you want to hear more details about the successes and disasters of this episode, you can listen to the Recipe Club podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Please, please, please touch that subscribe button and press that like button. It really does matter. We love you. Wonderful day to you all. Talk to you soon.